The Trump administration tried to stop veteran benefit rulings, and that sounds crazy, but they basically got told to pound sand. And the reason they wanted to stop processing these claims is because the VA isn't sure whether or not they can uphold the timelines that are set, which is at least my understanding, during the government shutdown, right? Or due to the government shutdown. So what we're going to do is dive into this article here, and you'll find that Trump admin kind of got punched in the face. So yeah, that's what happened. U.S. court rejects Trump's officials' effort to delay rulings on veteran benefits. Talking about the VA secretary, obviously. Unanimous rulings calls administration's push to halt review of disability appeals and extreme requests. It is pretty crazy because the whole reason you submit an appeal, especially to the court, is because the VA got it wrong. And you essentially just want them to do their job. And they denied you wrongfully, allegedly. So here we go. This just came out October 23rd, yesterday. A panel of U.S. judges has rejected an effort by the Trump admin to delay court rulings on claims by veterans who say they have been unfairly denied disability benefits and other compensation tied to their military service. The 9-0 ruling, and that part is key there, okay? Handed down on Wednesday by the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims, was led by Chief Judge Michael Allen, a Trump appointee. Another key fact there. The action is the latest example of the growing number of federal judges pushing back against Trump administration moves. Wednesday's decision came after Secretary of Veteran Affairs Doug Collins asked the court to halt work on nearly all cases until the government shutdown concludes. Pausing VA's deadlines in nearly every case before the court is a significant and extreme request, and the Secretary has failed to demonstrate that such sweeping relief is appropriate, the judges wrote. Veterans groups which have urged politicians to end the shutdown said Collins was using the impasse as a pretext to deny veterans their day in court. Some of those veterans have already waited 10, 20, or 50 years for the law, and the science to allow them to file claims for toxic exposure, such as Agent Orange and burn pits, said Paul Sullivan, a Gulf War veteran and national vice chair for the advocacy group Veterans for Common Sense. That's a funny name to me. If VA had prevailed, these veterans could have faced indefinite delays for their benefits and in some cases their care. Trump sought to make those veterans wait longer, and that's unconscionable. The VA press secretary, Pete Kay, did not respond to inquiries by the Guardian's deadline. In its petition, Agency General Counsel James Barr acknowledged that denying these veterans' cases is undesirable, but said the lapse of federal funding could preclude the VA from performing the official functions necessary to satisfy the court's filing deadline in most of the cases currently pending before the court. And I have my two thoughts on that. Let me just this is the end of the article. The Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims hears approximately 15,000 cases a year. In most cases, it either grants veterans claims for compensation or sends the case back to VA claims adjudicators to resolve errors that could have led to a wrongful denial of benefits. As of September 24, the median time between a veteran filing an appeal to disposition of a case by the court was 222 days or 7.5 months, and that's the end of it. What this makes me think of, and this is probably going to make people mad, is do you remember whenever the VA wanted to cut 80,000 positions and said that the workload's we're going to be okay, we're actually going to do better. You know, more veterans are going to get their benefits, more veterans are going to be able to take advantage of healthcare if we shrink the workforce by 80,000. That was a whole thing in the House and the Senate that went on and on for months. Fast forward, they kind of rolled that back and was like, you know what, 80,000, let's not do it. Let's stick at 30,000. And that's the case as of right now. It's crazy to me that a government shutdown where only 35,000 employees are furloughed at the VA, okay, a temporary government shutdown would affect the VA so much that they have to stop appeals, probably stop other operations just to continue processing claims benefits, which is crazy to me because how is cutting 80,000 people not going to affect the VA when a temporary government shutdown affects it this much? That's just exactly where my mind goes to. Yeah, but I'm glad to see the court was like, no. They basically said, no, you're stupid for asking. All right. Anyways, those are my thoughts. I want to know your thoughts on this ruling. Peace.